Welcome, pilgrims of heaven. Saint James, patron of pilgrims, invites us to stay with Jesus on the journey. Saint Maximilian Kolbe, priest and martyr, pray for us. I invite you to join our Saint James family in celebrating the 19th Sunday in Ordinary Time. The Gospel of Matthew, chapter 14, verse 22 through 33. Jesus walks on the water. At verse 25 through 26. During the fourth watch of the night, Jesus came toward them walking on the sea. When the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified. "It is a ghost," they said, and they cried out in fear. "What sort of man is this, whom even the winds and the sea obey?" This question was posed by the disciples after they had seen Jesus' nature miracle in the Gospel of Matthew chapter 8, the calming of the storm at the sea. Back to that question, what sort of man is this? St. Peter answers for us. He instinctively knew who this man was. And when this man spoke, "Take courage, it is I, do not be afraid," St. Peter, in faith, a faith charged with supernatural heavenly graces, St. Peter steps out onto the water to follow that voice. That voice that said to take courage. That voice that St. Peter saw command the wind and the sea. The voice St. Peter knows is the voice of miracles. And it is St. Peter's faith in Jesus that he's able to perform the miracle of walking on water. St. Peter knew Jesus was God and trusted him until, of course, St. Peter needed still some more purifying to grow in holiness. St. Peter started to move his attention away from Jesus to the wind and waves and that thought of drowning. That's when St. Peter began to sink. Jesus rebukes St. Peter for his lack of faith, but pulls him out of the ocean. Jesus is God, and Jesus is very patient, loving, and forgiving. Jesus has not abandoned St. Peter, and he has not abandoned us to the storms of the world. Jesus guides us in this journey of life with his patience, with his love, and with his holy presence in the Holy Eucharist. Remember, the Eucharist will come to an end. Be a grateful Eucharistic pilgrim. The Eucharist, Jesus, is present to our faithfulness to God, calling us to trust more in the God of miracles and holding us accountable to seek forgiveness for our unfaithfulness, which is sin. I hope Jesus will give you another chance to attend Sunday Mass this weekend at St. James. Immaculate Heart of Mary, pray for us. Sacred Heart of Jesus, have mercy on us.